Now I know you guys are wondering. You're like, man, what the heck was I talking about when I said I was gonna start a new series on YouTube? Well, this is basically what I was talking about, man. I know you guys love to hear me talk basketball, and you guys, you wish I would talk basketball a little bit more because you guys think I'm knowledgeable about the sport, and I sit there and I really, really, I love this game. And what you guys don't know is I have a hobby that I love to do, and I love to actually do it every day. I take the games for the day, and I really go through all the numbers for the game, and I really look at the analytics side of it, and I try to actually predict the scores of the said games based off of real studying and real diligence and real knowledge. I don't just go up there guessing and this is what's gonna happen. Now, nobody's ever right 100% of the time. That's not possible. But I just want to let you guys know that the numbers can tell you a story, especially the numbers that, if you pay attention to the correct ones, it can really, really paint the picture for you before the whole joint is in view. And I think that you guys will enjoy this series. I think that you guys will really, really like this, especially basketball purists and guys that love to just see if they can really do it. See if they can really do it. My controller just died. I don't really care. I'm not really doing nothing with that right now, but I just wanted to intro the fact that you guys are about to witness something that I think is really unique and really, really, really cool. So, and you guys are probably gonna give me a lot of flack for it too. I already know that. Oh, you were wrong, Sid. You were wrong. Hey, but you're gonna say that I'm right a lot of the time too. So I mean, hey, it's not like I'm sitting here picking straws here. So without further ado, man, hope you guys enjoy this series. Leave a like, subscribe if you're new. If you really, really, really love this series and you really, really support this series, I will continue to do it every day because I do it every day anyway. And yeah, just enjoy this, man. Really, really enjoy this. First game on the slate, we got New York versus Detroit. Now in this game, New York is worse in every single category that matters except for points against and steals per game. They're being outscored by nearly 10 points a game as well. They're getting outscored by 10 a game. Alfred Payton and Dennis Smith Jr. are out for the game. Reggie Jackson is day-to-day, Blake Griffin's day-to-day, and Derrick Rose and Tim Frazier are also listed as day-to-day. But it looks like Reggie Jackson and Blake Griffin are both going to be out for the game. So that doesn't bode well for the Detroit Pistons, but I still think that they should be able to win this game. I will give my actual prediction, for the game when we get to the end of the video, when I do all of the predictions for the actual scores and everything. But it looks like, the Detroit Pistons should pull this game out over the New York Knickerbockers, especially if Blake Griffin doesn't play and Reggie Jackson doesn't play. Derrick Rose is, day-to-day. He might play, he might not play. So we'll see. The next game on the slate that we have is the Indiana Pacers versus the Washington Wizards. Now this game is very even. The only red flag that I see is that Washington gives up way too many points per game, and that will hurt them. If they fall victim defensively, it's going to kill them. The best player on the floor is Bradley Beal, so if he gets hot, it could be trouble for the Pacers. Jan Mahimi, Jordan McRae are out for the Washington Wizards. Doug McDermott, Domantas Sabonis being out, if he is out, will hurt them tremendously. They're both listed as day-to-day. So if they don't play, it's going to hurt. Domantas definitely is going to hurt them because he's their leading rebounder. As you know in the NBA, if you don't board, you don't win. The board man gets paid. This is what your boy Kawhi Leonard says. It's pretty much the truth, especially in the NBA. So Miles Turner's also not going to play. He's hurt for the Pacers. He's definitely out. Those things are definitely going to kill the Pacers. I'm pretty much up in the air with this, but Washington, they give up way too many points, even though they did win the other night, but they had to put up like $130. So we're going to see exactly where this goes for the Pacers and the Washington Wizards at the end. Like I said, I'll make the actual prediction on what I think the score will be and what the factors for each team winning will be. But my early preface of the whole situation is that the Indiana Pacers look like they should beat the Washington Wizards. The next game will be Chicago versus Atlanta. This one is pretty tough to pick because you have a lot of injuries in this game. If the teams were at full strength and we're looking at a fair game, then I think Atlanta would clearly beat the Chicago Bulls because the Bulls are coming off a back-to-back where they just spent a lot of energy playing the Los Angeles Lakers, who are in first place, and we know that they had the lead late in the game and blew it. The Hawks are literally better in every area, and the Bulls have their work cut out for them. But, I'm just saying that you have to really look at it like this, man. There's no Trae Young, there's no Allen Crabbe, there's no Chandler Parsons, there's no Evan Turner. LaVine is the best player on the floor, so we're going to have to see who wins the game in that area. But I really think that Trae Young not being able to play is going to put too much of a strain on Atlanta. They don't really have a point guard to back him up, and it's just bad. The next game we have on the slate is Golden State versus Houston. Nothing to be said here. The whole Golden State squad is pretty much on an operating table. This one is over unless Russell goes off for about 40 to 50 points, which I don't see happening, but they are playing D'Antoni's defense, so you already know what the heck goes on when you play against a D'Antoni-led defense. The Rockets are giving up 1 billion points a game. Both teams are giving up over 120 points per. So that's just ridiculous. So we know that we're going to see a bunch of scoring in this game. It's going to be fast-paced. It's going to be nuts. You got Harden, who's averaging like 37 a game almost. You got Russell Westbrook, who's out there, can go haywire whenever, get a triple-double, go nuts on the fast break. It's just going to be one of those games that we see. They're going to either win it by 40 or it's going to be tight, and there's going to be a 260 points scored in this game. So we'll see exactly what happens tonight. But, this man is averaging 36.6 points per game. He's only shooting 38%. So if James gets hot, he might go off for 50, 60 in this game. I'm looking. It might happen. Next game on the slate we have is Sacramento versus Toronto. Sacktown has an outside chance of winning this game. Both teams are beyond rested, so we should get some exciting basketball, but some sloppy basketball at the beginning of this one. Both teams haven't played in a couple of days, so that automatically puts, the strain on both teams as far as, they're not going to be really, really sharp. They're going to be very, very rusty. Don't know how much practice time they got in between, but most of the time when you get days off in the NBA, you get days off. Sacktown's a great young team, and I believe they will get murdered on the boards, though, and lose this one to the Raptors. Siakam should have a field day. There's nobody out there that can really check him. There's nobody out there that can really do anything with this man. He's having an all-star start to the season, so we'll see what happens. De'Aaron Fox he's having a good year, but I just don't see them being able to hold up on the boards with Toronto at all night. So at the end, like I said, we'll get the predictions on what's going to go on and what the scores will actually be. But right now, my first take on looking at the two teams is that we're going to see a beat down on the boards, and they're just not going to be able to withstand it. So this one should be a win for Toronto, and Siakam should have big numbers in this game. The next game on the slate will be Minnesota versus the Memphis Grizzlies. This could hinge on who actually plays in the game, because we got Jordan Bell, Jeff Teague, and Shabazz Napier for the Wolves are day-to-day. They may or may not play, so I don't even know who's going to play in the game for them. That's not too big a deal. But Jaren Jackson and Grayson Allen for the Grizz are day-to-day. So they could play or they might sit. And Jaren Jackson sitting would be big. Grayson Allen sitting for the Grizz would be big. They're both good young players for that team. Both teams are evenly matched as far as, the stat lines go. They're both very, very well rested, so it can go either way. If I had to pick, I would take the Minnesota Timberwolves in this game. Like I said, I have to look deeper into the numbers, and at the end of the video, we'll we'll go ahead with the predictions of what's going to happen. I know I've said that a bunch of times already, but that's what we're going to look at. But as far as first glance goes, it looks like the Minnesota Timberwolves should win this game. Jordan Bell, Jeff Teague, and Napier aren't as big a loss as Jaren Jackson and Grayson Allen would be. Karl Anthony Towns is a monster. Wiggins has been playing great. So they seem to, even Ja Morant can go off, but I don't see that happening. We'll see. We'll see about this one. Next game on the slate, as we see Markelle Fultz rolling up. Orlando versus the Dallas Mavericks. This one is going to be a complete blowout. Beat down. Not even close. The Mavs will kill the Orlando Magic. The Magic can't score, and Dallas scores with the best of them. Nothing more to be said here. You got Luka having a crazy year. You have Porzingis out there. And the Magic have no offense. I mean, absolutely no offense. They can't throw a rock in the ocean. They are trash on offense. It is so hard to watch them sometimes on offense this year. It is almost incredible. They're shooting like 39% from the field. It is horrible. You got Porzingis averaging 20 and 8, but you got Luka, who's leading the team in every damn thing. He's leading the team in points, rebounds, and assists, I believe. If I'm correct, he's leading in every category. That's crazy when you got a 7'3" guy on your team. So we'll see what happens in this game. I think it's going to be a complete beatdown. Just bad. Real bad. Next game on the slate will be Utah versus the Philadelphia 76ers. This one is tough because Utah is a tough team to beat at home. But I believe Philly can steal one here because Ed Davis and Dante Exum are not playing. Utah has one of the best defenses in the league and can really stifle you inside. You see what I did there? No pun intended, but they got the stifle tower. That boy Rudy Gobert blocks everything. He's not letting you have anything easy. He's not letting you have nothing easy. As you can see right there, Donovan Mitchell's having a crackhead year, 25-2. 5 rebounds per game. Ben Simmons is doing his thing. It's one of those games that Mike Conley has to get it going. Mike Conley has to get it going. He's having a horrible year. Horrible, just terrible. He's shooting I don't even know what the numbers are, but it's historically bad for the first couple weeks of the season. Historically. So if Mike Conley Jr. does anything close to what he's normally done on other teams, well, namely Memphis, if he's anywhere near that Memphis Mike Conley, it's going to be tough for Utah to lose at home. They're a tough team to beat at home. Philly can win because, Exum and Ed Davis aren't playing. That's big hits to the Utah defense. They're both pretty good defensive players. Moutier might not play either for the Jazz, so that's big for them as well. Moutier is a very, very big player for them off the bench, sometimes starting. So we'll see what happens with the game at the end of the video. We'll do, like I said, the predictions, and we'll get it going. And our last game on the slate, we got Kawhi Leonard and the Clippers against Giannis Antetokounmpo and the Bucks. This is the game of the day, no doubt about it. But it's only the game of the day if Kawhi Leonard plays because he's listed as day-to-day. If Kawhi doesn't play, Milwaukee's probably going to blow him out. I'm just going to keep it a bag. You're going to blow him out. But if he does play, we have a game, and this one will be the most anticipated game of the day. Like I said, Kawhi versus Giannis. They both lead their respective teams in every major stat category that there is. Well, the 3 major ones: points, rebounds, and assists. So this one should be a fun one if they play against each other tonight. I'll get to the prediction at the end, but we're going to see 2 guys that get it done. And I do mean get it done. These guys are both MVP candidates. They're the best players in the league. It's just going to be something special. It's going to be in Los Angeles. They're both 5-2. This is just going to be one of those games that the world is going to watch, and they're going to want to see what happens. I believe this one is on TV tonight. It has to be. The NBA wouldn't have this game not on TV. And we're going to get to those predictions now, and we'll see exactly who's going to win each of these games and why they're going to win each of these games. I'm going to actually tell you guys my reasonings for them winning, and I'm going to tell you guys the final score, everything. But I'm going to take it the extra mile here, and we're going to let the debate begin, because you guys are going to hit me with the crazy. I know you guys are going to hit me with the crazy, hit me with, oh, you were wrong, or you were right, or this is crazy. But you see my man's numbers, 27, 14, and 7. That is nutty on 61% shooting. He's having a crackhead year. So we're going to see. Now that I've explained each game in depth, we're going to go through and actually do the predictions for the games and actually tell you guys exactly what's going to happen and the conclusions to each of these things that I was talking about, man. So in the first game, we're looking at some injuries. We're looking at some things that are going on, and the Knicks have been struggling. They're 1-6, and Detroit is 3-5 on the season. So we don't know if Derrick Rose is going to play. We don't know if a couple of guys are going to play in this game, as far as I know. But if I had to guess a final score for these games based on the research that I did, I do a lot of research for each game. I do this every day, and that's why when you guys ask me certain things in stream, I've done the research on the game. Just the numbers and the analytics and things of that nature in order to figure out, who's going to win or who has the best chance of winning, because nobody can predict the future. But I do the due diligence and the work in order to get to a situation where I can make an educated decision on who's going to win and what the score possibly could end up being. Now you're looking at Markieff Morris Sr. I don't know why they're saying he's the leading scorer, because I think that RJ Barrett is the leading scorer right now for the New York Knicks right now, but that's neither here nor there. But if I had to guess what the score would be, it would be 103 for the Knicks and 105 for the Detroit Pistons. So I'm anticipating a close game here. The Knicks are going to be in a dogfight. They're going to fight hard. They've been having a situation where, they've been playing games and they've been getting beat up. And this might be one of those games where they pull it together, because, there are NBA players. NBA players are going to be NBA players, and that's what they're going to do. So those things, tend to work itself out. Now, the next game on the slate will be the Washington Wizards against the Indiana Pacers. Now, this game is very, very tough to call because, like I said, there's a lot of injuries in this game. And one of the injuries is Domantas Sabonis. I don't know if he's going to play. He's listed as day-to-day, but as you can see, he's the leading rebounder on that team. And Miles Turner is out as well, so they're going to be very, very short-handed already with the injured Oladipo. Oladipo's not playing as well. As we all know, he's been injured from the whole season so far. And the Indiana Pacers still, to me, have a great chance of winning this game, simply because the Washington Wizards just give up way too many points. They've been giving up points left and right all year, and the Pacers are at home. So we're going to look at it like this and say that the Pacers, I believe, will win this game 123-104. I think it's going to be a blowout. I don't think it's going to be close, simply because of the fact that if Domantas plays, now this is all based on if Domantas Sabonis plays. I don't know if he's playing or not, but day-to-day means day-to-day. It means he could play, it means he couldn't play. This is all based off of if he's out there. So we need to see if he's going to actually be out there on the floor with his teammates, or if he's not going to be out there on the floor with his teammates. So he will make a big difference in the game. Now this next game, like I said, this could go either way. You're looking at the Bulls on a back-to-back right now, playing against the Lakers. We got a couple of injuries in this game for the Atlanta side, though. Trae Young is hurt. That's the biggest thing. Trae Young is hurt. Evan Turner's hurt. Allen Crabbe is hurt. Chandler Parsons is hurt. All these guys are going to miss time in this game because of the fact that they're all injured. That's going to be a tremendous blow. As you know, Trae Young is averaging almost 20. He's averaging 27 points per game. The boys are walking 30 right now. and he's going to be on the bench. Also, they're going to be missing 8-9 assists a game right now from him being on the bench, not being able to play in street clothes. So that's the biggest thing as far as I'm concerned when we're talking about this game. And that leads me to believe that the score will be 112-106. Chicago will win the game, even though they're on a back-to-back. It just, Trae Young is just going to be way too much to make up for this team right now. And the other injuries on top of that make this just a game that you can't pick the Atlanta Hawks in this game. The only way they can win this game is if they somehow can kill the Bulls because they're on a back-to-back. Back-to-backs are hard to play in the NBA, so they were just in LA, I believe. Well, no, they were in Chicago. So they were in Chicago and they got to fly to Atlanta. So, I mean, that just sucks. That means they're going to be playing off basically no rest. So that's the only reason I would see the Bulls actually losing this game. We'll see. But I think the Bulls will win 112-106. This next game, no freaking brainer. We already know everybody on the Warriors is dead. They're all broke. They're all broke down. They're all on the operating table. They're all chilling with IVs in their arms. It's a wrap for them. I have nothing really left to say about this game except for the fact that Houston's going to burn them up. I think the final score will be 131-98 Houston. It may be worse than that, but that's just the numbers and the figure that I came up with from the analytics that I did throughout the course of the morning. And yeah, I don't see this being a contest at all. This is going to be one of those just flat out blowouts, man. The next game on the slate will be the Sacramento Kings versus the Toronto Raptors. Now, I told you Siakam is out there balling. He's doing his thing. Van Fleet's leading them in assists. De'Aaron Fox leads them in points and assists on the other side. We're also looking at on that game. Let me see. We're looking at in that game, no real injuries. Both teams are on like 4 days rest or 3 days rest or something ridiculous. No teams get 3 days rest at all in the NBA anymore. That doesn't happen. So for them to have both be on 4 days rest, the game's probably going to be sloppy as hell at the beginning. It's going to be energetic as hell as well because they both haven't been on an NBA floor live in a couple of days. So those guys are going to be out there shot out of a cannon. And I believe that the game will be decided and the Toronto Raptors will win 115-101 because I just think Siakam is just going to be too much for them on the boards. I think it'll be too much on the boards for those guys. Those guys are not going to be able to rebound with the Toronto Raptors. They're a very, very good group rebounding team, and we'll see what happens. But my prediction is that they'll win 115-101. Toronto's at home. They're tough to beat at home. Next game on the slate will be Minnesota versus the Memphis Grizzlies. Now, the Memphis Grizzlies have been struggling. They're only 1-5. I just don't see them beating Minnesota at all. I don't really see it happening. Minnesota's one of those teams that, when they're playing good, they're playing really well. Jordan Bell, Jeff Teague, and Napier all might not play for the Wolves. They're all day to day. Grayson Allen and Jaren Jackson may not play for the Memphis Grizzlies. They're both listed as day-to-day, and that's big. If they both don't play, I don't think they have a shot at beating them. Both the teams are pretty evenly matched as far as stats go and as far as the analytics of the situation go. I just think that Minnesota has the better players and the best player in the series. The best player in this game probably be Karl Anthony Towns, and Wiggins has been playing great. So I don't think they have anything to really combat those two. And I think that the Memphis Grizzlies will lose this game 118-112. It'll be a decent game because you never know. Ja Morant could go off and they could win the game. I mean, he's a rookie. You never know what you're going to get from rookies. I would like to see Ja bump it up in the assist category. I don't think that he gets his teammates involved enough. He's only averaging 5 assists per game. As much as the ball is in his hands, he should be averaging more than that. I'm going to have a really, really tough matchup because if Jeff Teague plays, which I don't know, he's day-to-day. If he plays, it's going to be real rough on Ja because Jeff Teague can play some defense. So we'll see what happens in that matchup. The next matchup is really, really one of those tough ones, man. Orlando, they don't score. They don't score at all, but Orlando scares me because Orlando can get hot. They got Vucevic, and Vucevic can get it going. You got your boy Markelle Fultz, who looks like he's starting to get into his stride. But Luka Doncic has been playing incredible. He's leading his team in points, rebounds, and assists. He's almost averaging a triple-double right now. That is remarkable. I don't think that he'll keep that up for the entire season, but right now, he's what's going on right now in the NBA as far as players go. First 6 games, you don't get a better 6 games than what he's putting on right now. So we'll see what's going on with him later, but this may shock you. This may shock you. I believe that the Dallas Mavericks are going to lose this game 110-108. Now, don't ask me how. I just think that Orlando, from the analytics, they're going to pull it off. I think they'll pull off this upset, because this is definitely an upset if they beat them, especially if they beat them at home. This is one of them scary games that, you know, you pick and you're like, I don't know, man. I don't believe in the Magic, but Luka's been playing great, but I just think that they're gonna edge them out, 110-108. I just see that happening. Don't ask me. I just follow the numbers. I follow the numbers. The next game on the slate is Philadelphia versus Utah. Now, Philadelphia, Utah. Tough game to pick. Really, really tough game to pick, because you got Philly, who jack of all trades. They got Joel Embiid, who's going to play in this game, from what I believe. He's going to be back. He's going to play. And he's going to be hopping mad. Obviously, him and Karl Anthony Towns, I think, are going to play great tonight because of the fact that, you know, they've been gone a couple games, from what I can understand. So Joel Embiid, I think, is going to go off. The Stifle Tower is very, very tough to deal with, though. It's very, very stifling defense. You got Rudy Gobert over there. He's very stingy in the paint. You got Donovan Mitchell having a great year, but I think they're gonna neutralize him. They'll neutralize him pretty good. And Conley's just been trash. Conley has been trash, and this is one of the best point guards in the NBA over the last decade at least. He got $30 million a year for a reason. He's pretty damn good. I don't understand what's going on with him. Maybe it's the change of scenery. Maybe it's what's going on at home. I don't know what's going on, Conley, but you got to get it going, brother. You're historically bad for the first 2 weeks of the season. We need to see something from you. Well, if I had to make a prediction on this game, it would be Philly's going to win this thing 112-111. This is going to be a nail biter. This is going to be one of those games. It's like we gonna see some real drama in this one, because it's hard to beat Utah in Utah. Utah's a very, very tough team to beat in their hometown. So for them to go in there as hot as they are right now, they're 5-1. They're going into a very, very hostile environment, but I think that Utah is going to be up for this game, and I think they'll just edge it out. Somehow Philly will pull it out, and it'll be a tight game. It'll be a 1-2 point game, somewhere around there, and I believe it's going to be 112-111. Philly's going to win this one. The last game on the slate will probably be the best game on the slate. Both teams 5-2. Both teams have MVP candidates. Both teams have their MVP candidates leading them in points, rebounds, and assists. Giannis is having a crackhead start to the year. So is Kawhi. His steals and all that is not up there, but Giannis is shooting 61% to get that 27, 28 points per game that he's got. Plus, he's getting 14 in almost 8. That's incredible. I mean, you can't say anything else about Giannis Antetokounmpo at this point, man. The boy's a beast. It's really, really nice to see him come into his own. Kawhi Leonard, the leader of that team, but Kawhi Leonard might not play. He's listed as day-to-day, so he could be rested. We know he has a history of resting. From when he was in his San Antonio days, he rested for a whole 2 years almost. So we'll see. In Toronto, he did a lot of resting. So we'll see what happens with Kawhi Leonard as far as the rest goes. But if he does not rest, this will be the game of the night. This will be the best game of the day. It'll be the most anticipated game of the day, and it will be one that will be highly watched. So I think that at the end of the day, the Clippers will win this matchup 117-113, but that is only hinging off the idea of Kawhi Leonard playing the game. If he does not play in this game, then we are looking at a situation where it could get ugly for the Clippers. It could get ugly for them because they're gonna need Kawhi and every bit of those 30 that he's averaging right now to beat these boys. So we're gonna go back and recap the scores very, very quickly. Said that the Knicks would lose 103-105. I said the Washington Wizards would lose 123-104. I said that the Hawks would lose 112-106. I said that Houston would beat the dog mess out of the Golden State Warriors 131-98. Said that Toronto would beat the Sacramento Kings 115-101. That the Minnesota Timberwolves would beat the Memphis Grizzlies 118-112. Orlando will upset Dallas 110-108. Philly will just edge out Utah 112-111. And the Clippers would beat the Milwaukee Bucks 117-113. Now, if you guys want me to continue to do this series, I will do this every single day because I do it anyway. I do it anyway every single day. This is something that is a daily routine for me. This is a hobby. Now, if you guys want me to actually continue to do this and want me to give my insight in depth, like I'll get more in depth. If you guys really, really like the series and you really, really support the series, I will get super in depth with this. And you guys will be amazed at what these numbers can do and what certain things can tell, what kind of story it can tell you before the game is even played. Because if you're in my streams and you know we watch basketball or people are watching basketball games while I'm streaming and playing, I sit there and I talk to them about the games, and sometimes what I'm saying, and I'm not even watching the game, I could just be watching the little game cast on the phone, and what I'm saying be happening during the game while I'm playing, while it's happening. It's crazy, but the numbers tell me the story. Plus, I know the coaches. I've been watching coaching styles for years, so certain things I can pick out and pinpoint what a coach is gonna do. I don't even have to be watching it. But you'll be amazed what the numbers will be able to do and what the numbers can tell you. Now, nobody's right 100% of the time, so don't sit there and look at me to be right 1,000,000,000% of the time. That does not happen, but watch how close and how accurate. Watch how close and how accurate this stuff can actually get, man. Watch how close it does. Appreciate you guys. Leave a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. And we're going to be doing this every single morning. And then I will come back and do the recap of what happened at the night. So you guys will hear that later in the day after the games are over. We'll do the recap, or I might be streaming live while it happens. So you never know. But appreciate you guys, and God bless.